Hello, I'm Matthew Malcolm with California Ag Network, reporting to you here today with Manuel Cunha, president of the Nisei Farmers League at their headquarters here in Fresno. We're here today for two special reasons. One, the Nisei Farmers League is celebrating their 50th year anniversary. What a special thing for an organization that's lasted this long here in the great state of California, protecting farmers and farm workers. And secondly, we're here to recognize 5 recipients of the Nisei Farmers League Agriculturalist of the Year Award. It's pretty unique this year to have 5. Usually it's just 1. But I think that's very reflective of 50 years. Some great people you have to honor here tonight that we're going to talk about. But first and foremost, I wanted to talk with you, Manuel, about your reflections on 50 years with this organization. And I think it's very unique to share that Manuel has been at the helm of this organization for half of its life. You know, the last 26 years, beginning here with Harry Kubo when he started the organization. You've matched his time, right, with the organization as the head, and you've put your heart and your just everything into this organization. So I wanted to hear what this organization means to you.
Well, it means a lot. Being recruited by this organization to run the Nisei Legalization Center in 1986. Then I went to become the vice president, and then meanwhile, though, Harry and his board, or the board, in 1971 formed to deal with the United Farm Workers. So strictly not just to deal with labor, but also the league definitely felt and dealt with unionization issues by the United Farm Workers. As most people tried to portray that there was no disruptions that were going on, there was a lot of disruptions because the growers united together. And their main thing was to unite together and to protect the workers' rights. So the Nisei Farmers League and Harry Kubo and those folks really fought hard to protect that right. But the issues have definitely expanded themselves from just labor and redress and immigration and other issues, marketing and stuff. But we have expanded tremendously to deal with the issues confronting agricultural growers and farm workers in this country and in this state. As we know, this state is a state of regulations, so that means we're having to deal with a lot of issues. So we moved forward into a tremendous year that I can't believe 50 years myself. The greatest opportunity for our 50 years is to recognize 5 Agriculturalist of the Year award. Many of those recipients were their parents, their Niseis, were original members in 1971. And Harry and the board at that time had 1,433 Japanese Americans were part of this organization with other cultures, from a variety of folks being a part of this group to deal with the unjust that was going on during the unionization activities. But today, these 5 recipients are tremendous honorees. One of the honorees definitely has a vineyard that's 108 years old that they had when they got here. But very few out of the 1,433, which I think is a number incredible, that we have 31 left. Actual Niseis that are still part of the organization, and of that, many of the Nisei, some of the family, wife or husband, are still alive. But one of our great members, tonight she will be honored.
Yes, that's May Morita. Yes. And yes, I've talked about long-term commitment. You know, she was one of the family founding members in this organization, also honored as Agriculturalist of the Year. Unfortunately, due to COVID concerns, she won't be depicted in this video, but we wanted to make sure we gave her special recognition and honor today. Now, before we get into the video presentation for our Agriculturalist of the Year awards, Manuel, you gave a great description about what this league is all about. We also wanted to hear from some of the members, the core of this industry.
Hello, I'm David Jackson from Family Tree Farms.
I'm Dennis Parnagian, chairman of Fowler Packing Company.
Hi, I'm Doug Bennick. I'm a grower of raisins, table grapes, some tree fruit, and in addition to my crop insurance business.
My name is George Rodriguez. I'm a farm labor contractor, table grape grower.
Hi there, I'm Pat Ricciuti, representing our Ricciuti family PR Farms and Enzo Olive Oil Company.
My name is Nat DeBudio.
Hello, my name is Harold McClarty. I'm with HMC Farms, and we've been farming around the area. My family has since 1887.
Congratulations to Nisei Farmers League on 50 years of representing us farmers.
I realized early on that the Nisei Farmers League, just by virtue of the name, some people had the perception it was only for membership was only for Japanese growers, which was the furthest thing from the truth.
Our family's been involved in the Nisei Farmers League from its early inception. I recall the early years of actually working with the Nisei Farmers League in their various tasks on behalf of farmers and farm workers in protecting the rights of both during the Great Boycott and actually harvesting procedures that the Nisei Farmers League did with their growers to help other growers harvest their crops.
As founding members, I remember the early days with Harry Kubo, Mikio Uchiyama, and many other Japanese growers that all banded together to help one another during the very tumultuous times when Cesar Chavez and the UFW was trying to organize our farm workers. And it was the Nisei Farmers Group got established as the first line of defense.
I've been on the board of Nisei Farmers League for 35 years. It's an incredible board. Manuel and his amazing staff have done a great job throughout the years protecting farmers, large and small alike, from the biggest problems that we have: regulations in water, labor, environment.
There was times during the pandemic that we needed help. We didn't know which way we were going, and it was a lifeline calling Nisei to help us out with all our questions, our hand sanitizers, masks, bandanas, awareness. It was great. We couldn't have done this without them.
It gives me a great deal of pleasure and honor to speak so highly of the Nisei Farmers League and all they've done for the farmers and agriculture in our Central Valley and our state, and really our nation. They've represented the farm workers and the farmers together.
I want to thank the Nisei Farmers League for all they've done for us for the last 50 years. Congratulations on a great job. They came together. I was a kid out of college, and I remember the farmers getting together and patrolling and protecting their crops and their livelihoods. And it was all put together collectively when you see the camaraderie between farmers and how they operated and how they worked together and how they were always good neighbors to each other.
We've had a very long history with Harry Kubo. When the Kubo family was relocated during the war, our family, which were neighbors, took care of their property for them. And when they got back from being relocated, the property was handed back to them as theirs. And it was the right thing to do.
Nisei Farmers League, thank you for all that you do for us.
Congratulations for 50 years.
Thank you for 50 years of dedicated service.
Congratulations on 50 years. We look forward to another 50 years. Thank you very much.
Congratulations, job well done.
My name is David Sasaki, and I would first like to thank the Nisei Farmers League for this honor, especially for the honor of sharing it with the co-recipients, with whom I have a tremendous amount of respect for. I grew up with them, and their histories are very similar to mine, and so we have very similar appreciations.
Hi, my name's Grant Miyamoto. I'm a third generation, I'd be considered a Sansei farmer out in the Carruthers area, and I'm basically retired now, but I followed in the footsteps of my dad, Nisei, and my grandfather.
My name is Bill Yamamoto, 65. I'm a grape grower.
Hello, my name is Mitch Nakashima. I'm a third generation Sansei, Japanese American farmer here. In the Carruthers area, I grow Thompson seedless grapes for raisins for Sun-Maid in Kingsburg.
My grandparents, my two grandfathers, migrated here from Japan in the early 1900s. Both were in their teen years, and they left because the economy was terrible in Japan and there was opportunity here.
My grandparents migrated from the Hiroshima area, which is basically agricultural area. So when they came to the United States, that's what they gravitated toward.
My grandfather was 14 years old. They worked 7 days a week, sun up to sundown.
And they started out as farm laborers, just like the farm laborers we use today. They worked in the field for hourly or piecework wages. They lived very, very humble lives.
When they first got their farm, they grew row crops. Specifically, I remember strawberries. And we used to play in the field, running back and forth and eating the strawberries, of course.
It wasn't until the oldest child, or the oldest son, turned 18, this is in my father's case, that my grandfather bought some land. He bought 40 acres, of which 20 were planted, but he couldn't buy it in his name because he wasn't a citizen. So he bought it in my father's name because my father was 18 and he was born here, so he was a naturalized citizen.
So at the time that the war broke out, they were in the Carruthers area. My dad, I believe he was into service at that time.
They had 3 days to, whatever you can carry in your arms, you know, the 2 bags or whatever. They got rounded up, headed to the Fresno Assembly Center. They got stuck in the horse stalls. They got a hay with, gunny sack, and that was their bed in those dirty horse stalls in Fresno, in the Fresno Fairgrounds.
So they had to take care of all their belongings and either sell them or, in my father's case, he had a neighbor that ran the farm for him while they were gone. My father was drafted into the military, and the rest of his family, his 2 brothers, were too young, so they ended up in relocation camp. And we were the lucky ones because the person that took over the farm for my father used to send money to the camp for their share of the crop. And so my grandfather always had money in the camp.
I went there to visit those camps about 15 years ago, so to see where our family was interned. They call them internment camps, but I call them concentration camps. This is because of the barbed wire and the machine guns pointed at you, not out.
Now, my mom's side of the family, she had 3 brothers that were drafted out of the camp into the armed services. And that was very difficult because you're put in a relocation camp because you're afraid of being a traitor. There was fear of lack of loyalty, and yet they're going to draft you into the military. And so I never understood that as a young kid growing up, and even growing up as I got older. And I don't think anyone can make sense of that. But it happened.
To be truthful with you, what happened before and during camps, they were reluctant to talk about it. You know, they kept it within themselves, and they wanted it to be over, and they wanted to move on. And that strength of character is what helped me to see what sacrifices they had to make. You know, and that you can't blame other people. You have to take care of your own situation.
Luckily, they had a good Danish neighbor, I believe, that kept their farm going for the 3.5 years they were gone. So they were very, very fortunate because most people lost their land, they lost their business.
Around the time when Cesar Chavez was trying to form the union, the Nisei Farmers League was formed. And I can remember as an 11-year-old kid, my uncle and my dad used to go on patrol at night from 10 o'clock in the morning till 6 the next morning. There was vandalism in the area, supposedly caused by protesters that were pro-union. And there were vineyards that were being chainsawed. There was sugar being poured in gas tanks, tractors being sabotaged in the yards. So everyone we just ran these patrols.
Just horrendous things happening to farmers out there. So the growers out here try to help the growers over there, no matter what race and anything, but all the growers, as a cohesive unit.
They decided that they needed to patrol, not to confront, but to basically as a community to stand with their neighbors. Because one farmer standing by himself, can do very little. But if you have a group standing with you, then it makes more of a statement.
Fortunately, there was never an incident. But as a kid growing up, I thought it was pretty cool because they get to go out and play Army at night. But if it were to happen today, I would be very worried, as my mother probably was, because it's not safe. That's how my father got involved in the Nisei Farmers League, because he felt he needed to do his part to protect the land. And he remained a member till the day he died. And when I moved home, my brother and I owned a parcel, and I belonged to the Nisei Farmers League. And when I inherited Dad's land, my brother and I inherited the land, we remained with the Nisei Farmer League for two very important reasons. And probably the most important reason for me is the gratitude for what the Nisei Farmers League did for my family. The support, the advocacy through all the years.
Also, the Manuel and his group are really on top of all the legislation that is going on that affects farmers. And they've been a good voice for us as far as advocating the position of farmers, trying to help us out. That really takes a lot of pressure off the farmer.
2 years ago, one of my farmers got COVID, and I called him Manuel and the attorney, Peter, and I talked to him quite a bit. We tag team on the phone. And I said, what do I have to do, Manuel? What do I have to do, Peter? I said, this is what you have to do.
One of the great factors in me being able to continue running the farm are organizations like the Nisei Farmers League. That makes it possible for me not to have to worry about the things I don't want to do. They take care of that for me. I just have to do what they tell me to do. Places like we sell our raisins, the Sun-Maid raisins. These are the kind of organizations that keep me wanting to continue doing this because they make farming possible.
Our family is very honored to be part of the 50th anniversary of the Nisei Farmers League.
I was surprised to be honored by this award.
Well, I just said, Manuel, it's not us, it was our fathers, like Billy and David. So what are we doing here? But it is an honor, and it's just unreal. It's very humbling.
I think there are many people that are probably more qualified or deserve it more. But I'm proud to be representing everyone, okay, that it's not just me, but I'm representing everyone.
Wow, what an amazing group of individuals honored here with the Nisei Farmers League. They are a great representation of the membership as a whole of this organization and all of California agriculture for that matter. All the difficulties and challenges that farmers have to deal with every day, and some people wouldn't even have imagined today, dealing with things such as internment camps and rising above that to really achieve the American dream, which these farmers have accomplished.
I would totally agree. And those farmers' determination is incredible. The spirits, I just want to say to all of the farmers that went through all types of things, the Japanese Americans that came back from camp still had the determination to continue on and didn't stop and moved forward to make sure that there was a life for their children and for them. And today, when you hear growers that are 88 years old, 90 years old, and still farming with all the impediments in front of them today as compared to 1970, and they're still doing it. I mean, that just, I give them so much credit.
It's certainly an inspiration. And that's the kind of grit and spirit that we're going to need to get through the next 50 years. So we really appreciate that Nisei Farmers League is going to continue on protecting both the interests of farmers and farm workers alike in unity to get us through all the challenges that we have ahead of us. Well, thank you so much, Manuel. I'm Matthew Malcolm, CaliforniaAgNet.com.